The night didn't feel dangerous at first. It felt ordinary, the kind of night that slips past without leaving a mark, until one small decision cracks everything open. The streetlights blurred into golden smears on the windshield, rain threatening but never falling, and my friend slept heavily in the passenger seat, her breath uneven, her trust complete. I didn't know then that this drive, this simple act of kindness, would quietly rearrange my life in ways I couldn't undo even if I tried. If you believe that kindness, second chances, and unexpected moments can change a person's destiny, take a moment right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel, The Kindness Chronicles, because stories like this remind us why compassion still matters in a world that moves too fast to notice it. She had been celebrating too hard, laughing too loudly, and leaning too much on people who didn't care enough to stop her. I had watched it happen from the corner of the room, feeling that familiar mix of concern and responsibility that comes from knowing someone longer than the party lasts. By the time I convinced her to leave, the music was still thumping, but her strength was gone. Driving her home felt less like a favor and more like a promise I couldn't break, a quiet vow that she would be safe tonight, no matter what it cost me. The city thinned as we reached her neighborhood, the noise replaced by silence that hummed in my ears. I carried her to the door, careful not to wake the neighbors, careful not to drop the weight of her exhaustion. When the door opened, her mother's face appeared not angry or suspicious, but deeply tired, the kind of tired that comes from years of worry and love mixed together. She thanked me with eyes that looked like they had been holding fear for hours, then surprised me by offering a place to stay, as if she sensed that the night wasn't finished with me yet. I should have said no. I had work in the morning, responsibilities waiting, a life that depended on routine and predictability. But something in her mother's voice, something gentle and steady, made leaving feel wrong. So I stayed, telling myself it was only for the night, only until my friend was safe and settled. I didn't realize that sometimes staying is the first step toward becoming someone new. The house was quiet in a way that felt sacred. Photographs lined the walls, capturing moments of happiness frozen in time, birthdays, graduations, smiles that hinted at struggles hidden just outside the frame. Sitting alone in the living room, I felt the weight of my own life pressing in. I had been drifting for years, helping others while avoiding my own unresolved pain, telling myself that being useful was enough to feel whole. As the hours passed, sleep refused to come. Instead, memories rose up, times I had walked away when staying would have mattered, moments when fear disguised itself as logic. I realized how often I chose distance over connection, safety over sincerity. That night, surrounded by the quiet breathing of a household that had welcomed me without question, those habits felt smaller, weaker, easier to confront. In the early hours, her mother returned, not to question me, but to talk in the soft way people do when honesty finally feels safe. She spoke about her daughter's struggles, about nights spent waiting for headlights that meant she was home alive. She spoke about kindness not as a grand gesture, but as a series of small choices made again and again, even when they hurt. Listening, I understood that my simple act of driving a friend home had touched something deeper, something rooted in trust and gratitude. Morning arrived gently, light filtering through curtains like forgiveness. My friend woke with embarrassment written across her face, but also relief. She remembered enough to know she had been protected, not judged. In that moment, I saw how fragile people really are beneath the masks they wear, how much they depend on someone choosing to care when it's inconvenient. Leaving the house later that day felt harder than I expected. The world outside seemed louder, harsher, less patient. Yet I carried something with me, a sense that I had stepped into a different version of myself, one who didn't rush away from responsibility or connection. The days that followed proved that the night wasn't an ending, but a beginning. My friend started to change, slowly, unevenly, but genuinely. She apologized not with words, but with effort. Her mother would occasionally check in, offering updates, gratitude, quiet encouragement. And I found myself more present in my own life, more willing to stay when things felt uncomfortable, more aware that kindness often asks for endurance, not applause. Challenges didn't disappear. There were setbacks, misunderstandings, moments when old habits tried to reclaim their space. I doubted myself, wondered if staying that night had tangled me in problems that weren't mine to solve. But each time doubt rose, I remembered the look in her mother's eyes, the relief that someone had chosen responsibility over convenience. That memory became my anchor. Months later, the significance of that night became clear. Lives don't usually change in dramatic explosions, they shift quietly, like a tide turning. That offer to stay over wasn't about hospitality, it was about trust, about recognizing goodness in a stranger and giving it room to grow. It taught me that sometimes the bravest thing we can do is accept an invitation we didn't expect, and stay present long enough for meaning to find us. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of a moment when kindness changed your path or someone else's, please take a second to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to The Kindness Chronicles, so more stories like this can reach the people who need them most. Before you go, I have one special request. Comment below with a single line about a time when a small act of kindness made a big difference in your life. Your words might be the reason someone else believes in second chances tonight.